talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your... It's Wednesday, hump day. And we here at the Tom Gulley Show, as always, hope you are getting the full, total, and complete amount of hump that you so desperately crave and you so rightfully deserve. Hey, I'm going to tell you all about Robert Redford, the late, great Robert Redford this evening. But breaking news just as I was going on the air, Jimmy Kimmel has been suspended indefinitely by ABC for remarks he made associating the assassin of Charlie Kirk with the MAGA movement, on the heels of the FCC chairman today on a podcast saying that he was going to go after ABC for those remarks. And Nexstar, owners of 28 ABC affiliates, saying that they were pulling the show indefinitely, or maybe for good. We don't know. We'll get into all of that later. I have a lot to say about that, and we'll open up I'll post the link later on after we cover Robert Redford. A lot of people here. Great to see a whole bunch of folks here today. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. You know, really sharing the show with your friends and retweeting and all of that stuff. That helps us so much. That just grows it. It grows it. And of course, we love your memberships and your super chats because Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. You'll notice on YouTube, which is, I think, the only place you can see this right now, at the very top of the page, it's got the PayPal link. And of course, PayPal is the preferred way to donate to the Tom Gulley Show because it's 100%, YouTube doesn't take a cut. The other guy doesn't take a cut. That's 100% maximum contribution and be very cherished. And, we've got a goal up there today. It's not a very big goal, but if we don't do any business today, there's not going to be a show on Thursday, which is tomorrow. And there's never a show on Friday from the foreseeable future. There are members-only shows on the weekends. With all that being said, let's get through just a few comments here. Not doing all of them, because frankly, some of your comments don't rise to the level of, but some of them do. Johnny 8 Books says, fun fact about Robert Redford, he owned several Great Pyrenees dogs, and he complained to the trainer that they never seemed excited to see him at his occasional ranch home, which is just tragic. Diana O'Brien is here. We're so happy to see Diana up and about. We hope that she's feeling well and that everything's going well for her. And she has a crown, apparently, in the chat room, which is just appropriate because she is, after all, British. Gilman's here. Always good to see him. Jared is here. He said he literally just found out 2 hours ago that Robert Redford was dead, which is tragic because people compare Robert Redford and Jared all the time. They look almost identical. There you go with some up fingers. Let's get those likes going. Forever Pugwash weighing in on the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Oh, one of our favorites around here, Roller Skater Texas Girl is here. Good to see you. I wish I had your video loaded. I don't have your video loaded. This woman can skate backwards at 50 miles an hour. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. People just with emojis going crazy. This guy's going to Gulley. I don't even know what that means. Our good friend Turkatron is there. And I can't tell you how badly I want tacos. And she knows where the good tacos are. And I don't even really necessarily want to pay for the tacos. I just want the tacos. You know what I mean? He wants 50 up fingers, does Jared. Yeah, that is. It's the legendary Turgatron. I hope Doopa Doopa Doo comes in myself. She's thanking her loyal fans. She does not like Mr. Burgers, apparently. Wanda is here with her siren-like voice and her impeccable punctuation. And it's always good to see Judy Tester's here. And it's always good when Christian Slater comes in with a whole bunch of spiders. Turkatron knows a taqueria owner, but will he give me free tacos? I want free tacos. Unless somebody gets on the PayPal link and donates me a whole bunch of money for the purpose of eating tacos with it. And then we do have super chats as well. And if we don't get, if we're just not going to make any money on this thing, then we're not doing a show on Thursday. I'm sorry. Christian says he has a picture of Wanda. Says he has a picture of Wanda when she was fat. I can't remember. I can't imagine that she was ever fat. Let's go film a taco review. Only if I get free tacos. I got to tell you, there's a great place here in Dallas called, what's it called? I think it's called Taqueria Moctezuma. Not Montezuma, but Moctezuma. Oh, their tacos are good. They're over in Irving. Yeah, don't ever share that. Never do it. Well, I'd really like to see Wanda at 300 pounds. She says 415. I don't believe her. Some of the things I hear, mariachi tacos are good too. Well, there's a lot of good places here in Dallas. You know, in Fort Worth, there's an ATM that dispenses tacos. I'm not joking. It's an ATM that dispenses. That's why I love Texas. You know, so please, super chats, memberships, all the good stuff, and then the PayPal as well. The PayPal, you give 100%, I get 100%. The other versions, they take like 30% of it. How come Turkatron knows all the good taco spots? Well, she's just lived here a long time. She says, seen that. It's over on 7th Street, I believe, over there in Fort Worth. Let me just tell you about Robert Redford. You know, he was born. Oh, Hard Archivist is here. He says a food mystery. Okay, that's it. I'm reading too many chats, I was told anyway. I read too many chats. And to make sure your chat gets read, make it a super chat. Then I'll definitely read it. Unless it says something horrible about me or unfair about somewhere else or whatever. Why, when I do this show, do people outside want to do like crazy lawn work? And I'm going to tell you about Robert Redford. Hold on just a second. Could you just hold on for just a second? Anyway. This is Tom. I tagged you in the fat photo of me. I don't know where that would be, and I don't go to the Discord anymore. Here, the Roundup has the best tacos in Texas on Discord. Yeah, I'm not going to the Discord anymore. You know, if everybody in the Discord wants to just be a tool, nah, I don't need that. Diana Bryan, I start my chemo cycles again next week after a break since March as immunotherapy compromised my kidneys to 25%. Couldn't do a biopsy to see anything else going on dangerous due to cysts. Well, just hang in there, okay? I'm sure they're giving you the best treatment possible. Don't look about it. How about, I don't know about the Roundup. It's in the VC chat. I don't know what the VC chat is. Oh, the side chat. Well, then I'll never see it. If it was in a direct message, I might accidentally go in there one day, but I'm not going in there. You guys can have that. I think you guys need that to yourself. I don't want to impinge upon the high quality of intellect and discourse that goes on in there, and fair and knowledgeable and all that. So that enjoy. You don't need me darkening your doorstep over there. I'm going to tell you about Robert Redford now. You know, a fella that they call Robert Redford. He was known as kind of a pretty boy, a Hollywood pretty boy. Look at that right there. Well, hell, why don't I just go there with that? Charles Robert Redford Jr. Yes, Jr. was born on August 18th, 1936. He was out there in Santa Monica, California. His mom's name was Martha. She was from Austin, Texas, not too far from here. And his dad, Senior, okay, he was an accountant. He sure was. And, you know, there you go. His family was very much from Ireland and Scotland, heritage-wise. Now, his family lived in Van Nuys. His dad worked in El Segundo. And as a child, his family often traveled to Austin to visit his granny on his mom's side. And that's where he credits his legendary environmentalism and love of nature. It was his childhood right here in Texas. And I don't know how much they say about, his love of Texas contributing to, maybe his love of tacos, but he attended Van Nuys High School. He was classmates with famous baseball pitcher Don Drysdale. Describes himself as a bad student, not a good student. And he really found inspiration from playing sports and doing art stuff. He would hit tennis balls with legendary tennis player Pancho Gonzalez at the Los Angeles Tennis Club to help him warm up for matches. So he knew some famous sports people, even though he had a mild case of polio when he was 11. So he graduates from high school in 1954. Now, most people, I don't know if you're going to know this or not because he was such a pretty boy, he was kind of a bohemian guy. He attended the University of Colorado in Boulder, but only for a year and a half. He was in a fraternity, but while he was there, he worked in a restaurant called The Sink. It's also kind of a bar, where a painting of his likeness is prominently in the murals on the wall there. While at Colorado, he began drinking heavily, and as a result, he lost his half scholarship and was expelled from school. You're out of here. So then he did something really bohemian. He went and he traveled in Europe, living in France and Spain and Italy, kind of like the guy from yesterday, Bradford Bitt. Anyway, he later studied painting at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, which is a famous art institute. And then he took classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, class of 1959 in Manhattan, New York, where Don Rickles and a lot of other famous people studied. I think Jason Robards and some of the others. I don't know. So he began his acting career in New York City, okay, where he worked both on stage and in television. He began his Broadway debut in a little role in a thing called Tall Story. Incidentally, they would later make that into a movie, and he would be in the movie too, which was common for back then. His biggest success on Broadway, though, was Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park in 1963, which we'll come back to that later. But he was on a lot of TV shows: Naked City, Maverick, hey Maverick, The Untouchables, Whispering Smith with Audie Murphy, Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. He actually plays death. He plays death in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, or was it The Twilight Zone? Because he was on both of them. Maybe it's The Twilight Zone. I think it is The Twilight Zone. He plays death, and he plays a real handsome, friendly death. He doesn't play an evil, bad, creepy, scary death. He plays a friendly, sort of get-to-know-him death. Anyway, Route 66, Dr. Kildare, Playhouse 90, The Virginian. Now, this shot that I'm showing you right now was from his appearance on The Virginian. The actress with him is Patricia Blair. And Patricia Blair is interesting because she was a love interest on The Rifleman, and she was also Daniel Boone's wife on the Daniel Boone TV show. So there. So anyway, he starts acting up a storm there in New York. He's just an acting fool, okay? He's in a lot of stuff. That movie Tall Story that he was on Broadway, well, they did the movie. Anthony Perkins and Jane Fonda in also her debut on film were in that movie. Now, he and Jane Fonda worked together in 3 or 4 movies, and I'll tell you about those in a second. But because of his Broadway success, he started getting larger and larger and larger roles in the movies. He was cast as a disturbed young man in this one series with it's called Rescue 8. He was in one of the last episodes. But he got an Emmy nomination for Best Supporting Actor in a show that nobody remembers called The Voice of Charlie Pont on ABC, who just suspended Jimmy Kimmel, in 1962. Now, one of his last TV performances was also on ABC on a show called Breaking Point, a medical drama. That was in 2019. And you're not going to believe what his last movie appearance was. I'm saving that back. Like a little jewel, a little gem. Okay. So he starts acting in more and more movies. He was cast next to Alec Guinness in a war comedy called Situation Hopeless But Not Serious. He was in a couple other things. He was in a movie with Natalie Wood and Charles Bronson. He was in another movie with Natalie Wood. He played her lover in both of them. He was also in a legendary flop, it wasn't a flop, but it was filled with huge dramatic actors. Jane Fonda, Marlon Brando, himself. It was chock full of superstars. It was called The Chase. And it was directed by a legendary Hollywood director called Arthur Penn. And everybody was thinking it was going to be this big thing. And it just didn't. But he was in it. Okay. And then he starts to really become a superstar. Okay. And it happened slowly because he wanted to be an actor. He was very cognizant of the fact that, well, here he is in Barefoot in the Park. He was just damn good looking. And he was a little worried about that. He didn't want to be the blonde pretty boy, right? And as Jared will tell you, who among us does? I mean, I hate being the blonde pretty boy. I deal with it. I mean, nobody gives me super chats or anything or PayPals, but I deal with it. So this is him in Barefoot in the Park, which was 1967. Huge hit, giant hit. Okay. And because he was so worried after Barefoot in the Park, he was so worried of being typecast as this sort of not that great actor. He turned down two of the biggest roles in Hollywood history. He turned down the George Segal role in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and he also turned down the main role, the Dustin Hoffman role in the Graduate, okay, which would have both made him giant stars. But his patience was well rewarded because he got the role of Butch Cassidy in the Sundance Kid, playing the Sundance Kid, scripted by William Goldman, legendary scriptwriter, and George Roy Hill, the director, opposite Paul Newman. Really smart move. Now that movie, that's the movie that made him a major bankable star. Okay, he was a bona fide movie star when that happened. And it kind of defined him on screen as this smart, reliable, intelligent, kind of sarcastic guy, okay? He didn't get an Academy Award or Golden Globe nomination for playing the Sundance Kid, but he did win the BAFTA, the British award, for the role of the Sundance Kid, and also for his parts in two movies that were critically acclaimed, kind of, very dramatic movies, but didn't do anything at the box office. One of them is called Downhill Racer. I think you can see that free online. And the other one is called Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here. And this is him in Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here. Good movies. They're a little tough to watch, but they're good movies, if you know what I mean. And then he made two major, not just flops at the box office. One movie called Little Fouse and Big Halsey, and another one called The Hot Rock. The Hot Rock was trying, but it just wasn't. And it wasn't. Then he did a movie called The Candidate, which a lot of people now think is brilliant. And it was a moderate success at the time, okay? It did okay. But then this is when he really starts hitting stride. Let me go through some of your comments real quick, because this is when he had a period of time where he was knocking it out of a park, like a lot of actors do. He had a 4 or 5 year period where he could do no wrong, okay? Really, really good. Good luck to Diana. We're all saying that. We love you. Yes, we do. She direct messaged it. Okay. Guys, send it to my email. Clay Combs is here. I don't think that's really Clay Combs. People saying hi. Hey, guys. Let's see. Don't forget to up fingers. He wants 50. Yeah, and don't forget the super chat or membership, or better still, PayPal. PayPal me. People always think if you PayPal somebody, you get all their contact information. I don't get any of it. Oh, you can also go to the store and buy some stuff if you want to. I got to call them. Some people have been buying some stuff and they screwed up my commission on it, on just a couple of items. You know, I'm running a business here. This isn't just good time. Anyway. Diana says, I have such good docs, nurses, and family around me. Of course, my spiritual faith. Yes. And your striking good looks. Those help as well. You know. Oh, this is Dirk. Music Biz Marty official says, I can't spell. My name is Dirk. Hello, Dirk. Boulder has some of the scariest spiders in the U.S. Expelled for being too sexy. That's always true. Twilight Zone. Yes. Yes. Norm was the best death. I do have to agree with you, Jared. 50 more up fingers. Yes, let's get those up fingers. It's tough being so beautiful. Yes, it is, Jared. And both of us so beautiful at such an advanced age. What's going on this side of my head? Well, I napped. I got to knock that down with the weed whacker later on, I think. Oh, Johnny's here. Gulley head for life. Thank you, Johnny. Good old Johnny. Good to see you. I read your quote at the top of the show, by the way, Johnny. But PayPal, right up there at the top, you get, it's 100%. I get 100%. You get to give me 100%. And it's covers quick and no excuses, Daddy-o. He's much better looking than Paul Newman, just saying. I do have what we might call rugged good looks. Some people have called it rugged good looks, yes. Incidentally, I have lost so much. I am thinner than I was, and I was thin before. I have lost so much. It's not even funny. And intentionally, the last 2 weeks I've been on this fasting thing, and it's like one very small meal a day and lots of water and protein shakes. I'm wasting away here, fellas. Anyway. So in 1973, Robert Redford goes on a tear. And this, a lot of people believe, is an unparalleled 4-year run of box office success on the part of an actor. You can argue Tom Cruise, Hanks, which I think is valid. But this ain't bad, okay? All right? He starts off in 1973 with this one. And I could watch this one over and over and over again. Jeremiah John. Let me take that down. Yeah, fasting is great for you. No more fettuccine. Jeremiah Johnson. If you've never seen it, it's amazing. He's amazing in it. Okay? So there you go. The second highest grossing film of 1973. Then he does, and I don't have this here because you guys don't want to see this. Then he does The Way We Were, also in 1973 with Barbra Streisand. That's the 5th highest grossing movie. So in the top 5 movies of 1973, he got 2 of them. All right? Then, and this is one of my most favorite movies of all time, if you've never seen it, this movie is pure Hollywood entertainment, and that, of course, is The Sting. Oh, my God, is the Sting so good. So very good. It's not as good as me putting up this banner, which I forgot to put up earlier, but still, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. There's the hassle you get for please super chats and all that stuff. I even turned on the goal and stuff. You know, look, I understand. I'm no Cobra, JCT, whatever. I'm no Cobra, FT, King Cobra. I'm no, who's the guy that does the weather that's not all there? I'm none of these guys, but for crying out loud, man. I mean, I know I could light my you-know-what's on fire, and it would get big money for that, but I'm not doing that. And I know some people that will do, whatever. Okay, so then he does The Sting, which is the top grossing movie of 1974. And one of the top 20 of all time when adjusted for inflation. Right? It also got him a nomination for Best Actor. The following year, by the way, here he is in The Sting, I think. Doesn't really matter. The following year, after that, he's in The Great Gatsby. Well, actually, yeah, it's 1974. It's actually the same year with Mia Farrow, Sam Waterston, and Bruce Dern. So he's in The Great Gatsby. That was the 8th highest grossing film of 1974. Okay? Now, they re-released Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which was made a couple of years later. They released it again. And it was 10th. It was 10th most popular. So he has first place, 8th place, and 10th place in 1974. So in 1974, he became the first performer since Bing Crosby in 1946 to have 3 films in a year's top 10. Each year between 1974 and 1976, movie exhibitors voted Robert Redford Hollywood's top box office star. Then he had a bunch more hits. In 1975, 2 of them, The Great Waldo Pepper and a great spy thriller, if you've never seen it. If you've never seen it, 3 Days of the Condor with Faye Dunaway. And those were in the top 20. He co-starred with Dustin Hoffman in All the President's Men, which was the second most popular movie of 1976. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And in 77, he had his own segment in A Bridge Too Far, which was a giant hit. Then in 1979, I got to tell you, I think this is my favorite. It might be my favorite Robert Redford movie. And if you've never seen it, it's awesome. Reunites with Jane Fonda in The Electric Horseman. And that was number 9 in 1980. Now, Gilman, thank you so much. Gilman with $2.99. Thank you so much, Gilman. That is so appreciated. See what a nice guy he is. See, the rest of you should feel shame now. You really should feel shame. Now, Robert Redford, let me read a couple of your comments. The Way We Were was great, yeah. The Sting, amazing, sure. Let's crush the goal, folks. Yeah, the goal is $10, folks, I think. $10. Back in the day, one person would give $10. Kayla Imholt, who I'm allowed to talk about, but some people aren't. Whistler, British Columbia is nice this time of year, right? I guess so. By the way, Kayla, nice. Thank you for joining us. Help me reach the goal. I won't shake I wouldn't lose I don't even know what that means. Okay, so now comes 1980 and Robert Redford's first film as a director, because he became a really well-known director, okay? And that's the movie Ordinary People, which if you've never seen it, it is not a feel-good movie, but it's a super good movie, okay? And Mary Tyler Moore, who's always so funny and everything, she plays just ice, just cold ice. Donald Sutherland and Timothy Hutton. Timothy Hutton also got an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for that movie. It is one of the most critically and publicly acclaimed films of the decade. It won 4 Academy Awards, Best Director and Best Picture. Okay? And that year also, he was in another great movie where he was a prison warden trying to reform the system, that movie called Brubaker. Then he does a movie as an actor that I think we've all seen and everybody loves. There's no way not to love this movie, and that is the baseball drama, The Natural. Yes, it's kind of an allegory to, King Arthur's court and all that stuff, but it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Then he was in Sidney Pollack's Out of Africa. A lot of us have seen that. Huge box office success. And Golden Globe for Best Picture. And it won 7 Oscars, including Best Picture. Streep was nominated for Best Actress. There you go. By the way, he did 7 movies with Sidney Pollack. That was the most popular. He did Legal Eagles alongside Deborah Winger, a minor success. He directed the Milagro Beanfield War, which wasn't commercially successful, but it was critically very highly acclaimed. And then he continued, as a major star throughout the 90s and 2000s, right? He did a movie a lot of people love. It's A River Runs Through It with Craig Scheffler, Brad Pitt, and Tom Skerritt. And he got a nomination for Best Director for that, and Golden Globe nomination. And that was kind of the coming out party for young Brad Pitt. He directed Quiz Show, about the quiz show scandals of the 50s, right? Yeah. So now, one of the big things. Oh, by the way, Christian Slater. Thank you, Christian Slater. We can see the spiders a little better when you donate. $9.99. He pretty much shatters our goal. Although I think the goal technically requires people to donate 5 times. So we're 2/5 of the way there. But thank you so much. I do appreciate that very, very much. That makes it all worthwhile. A lot of people think just that you being here and your comments, no, it's really the money. One of sort of the most, it was a cultural sensation when it came out. And that was the movie Indecent Proposal. Billionaire businessman tests the morals of a young couple played by Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson. Basically says, I'll give you $1 million for one night with your wife. That whole thing, that whole thing. He was in a movie about a TV newsroom called Up Close and Personal with Michelle Pfeiffer. That White Gold, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. He was in The Horse Whisperer with Christian Scott Thomas and a very, very, very young Scarlett Johansson, or Johansson, if you want to. There's a movie called Havana, a movie called Sneakers. He directed Matt Damon and Will Smith in The Legend of Bagger Vance. He played a disgraced Army general, sent to a prison in The Last Castle with James Gandolfini in it as well. It was with Brad Pitt again for Spy Game in 2001. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let me get the ones that I know out here, because he did a bunch of little small movies and stuff that were just kind of, appeared in some documentaries, did some other things. So now here's a movie, came out in 2013, that you're gonna forget about, that he did if you even knew about it. And I got to tell you, it's amazing. He only speaks 51 words in it. 51 words. Okay, this is him as he's getting older. Still a pretty boy, though. Look at that. It's called All Is Lost. And it's about a guy who's in this yacht, this small yacht that he owns, at sea, and it gets hit by an oil tanker or something, and he's then lost at sea. And it's pretty, he's the only cast member in the whole movie. And like I said, there's only 51 words of dialogue. There's almost no dialogue. He got nominated for Best Actor by the Golden Globes people, the New York Film Critics Best Actor, won that. And, you know, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Now, in 2014, he was the main antagonist in Captain America Winter Soldier. He played Alexander Pierce, the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the leader of the dreaded Hydra. Yes. Nobody likes that. He played Dan Rather in a movie called Truth along Kate Blanchett. You know what I mean? Now, he played bank robber Forrest Tucker in The Old Man in the Gun, which was released in September of 2018. Really a pretty good movie. A pretty good movie. Got a Golden Globe nomination for that. And, you know, he was just really good in it. But his last movie role, real role, was as Alexander Pierce again. He has a cameo in Avengers Endgame. That's his. So Robert Redford's last movie official role was in Avengers Endgame. He does have a cameo in the series Dark Winds, playing a detainee playing chess. It's just a cameo. He doesn't get any credit for any of that. I think I've mentioned to you most of the awards that the guy has won throughout his career. I mean, he was a humanitarian. He was an environmentalist, very much so. He has won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Venice Film Festival, and also got another honorary recipient award for the Academy Award. So technically he has two. He got an honorary degree from the University of Colorado, which, as we mentioned, he was kicked out of at one point in time. And he's got Bard College, gave him a Doctor of Letters. He got an honorary doctor from Brown University. Lots of stuff like that. Medal of Arts award from the President of the United States. The Légion d'honneur by President Nicolas Sarkozy of France, I assume. He got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Kennedy Center Honors, the Lillian and Dorothy Gish Prize, USC Dramatic Arts announced the Robert Redford Art Award for Engaged Artists to honor those who have distinguished themselves not only with exemplary quality, skill, and innovation of their work, but public commitment to social responsibility and those kinds of things. Now, here's another thing. Everybody hear of the Sundance Film Festival or the Sundance Channel? Yeah, he started that. Starting with his salaries from Butch Cassidy and Downhill Racer, he bought a ski area on the side of Mount Timpanogos, which Timpanogos is the hospital that they took Charlie Kirk to. But it's in the Wasatch Mountains, which go through Utah. The Wasatch, they call it. Northeast of Provo. And it was called Timp Haven. He renamed it Sundance after his Butch Sundance character. And his ex-wife was from Utah. So they built a home there in 1963. Now, portions of the movie Jeremiah Johnson were shot near the ski area. And he went on to create the Sundance Film Festival, which became the country's largest festival for independent films. Okay? So that land, by the way, now is known as Sundance. The whole area is known as that. In 2008, Sundance exhibited 125 feature-length films from 34 countries with more than 50,000 attendees in Salt Lake City and Park City, Utah. He also founded the Sundance Institute, Sundance Cinemas, Sundance Catalog, and the Sundance Channel, all in and around Park City, 30 miles north of the Sundance ski area. He also owned a restaurant called Zoom, but it closed in May of 2017. Restaurant business is a tough business. It very much is a tough business. He is the owner of a bunch of different, or has partial ownership in a bunch of different production companies: Wildwood Enterprises, Sundance Productions. Sundance Productions produced Chicagoland, The March, All the President's Men Revisited, they produced a bunch of stuff. Now, he was married from 1958 to like 1982 or something like that. It was very, maybe even later, maybe even 89. Let's see what it says up here. Married a long time. 1958 to 1985. That's a good long run. And he was married to a woman by the name of, excuse me. There we go. Lola Van Wagenen. Lola Van Wagenen. And they had 4 children, one of which died of SIDS at the age of 2.5 months. This woman, very artistic. One of their kids is a painter. One's a writer and producer. One's an actress. And they've got 7 grandchildren from that marriage. Now, they never publicly announced a separation or divorce, but in 1991, they said, I guess they're not together anymore. In 2009, he had a longtime girlfriend, Sybil Sizigars, I think is how you pronounce it, married in 2009. She'd been his girlfriend for a long time, though. She moved in with him in 96, shared a home with him in Sundance, and, married to him until the date of his death, which was just the day before yesterday, I believe. He was a political activist. He was very much into environmentalism, Native American rights, and the arts. Very much a conservationist. He wants the wildlife and wildlands very, very unspoiled. So there you go. I'm not going to get too much into his politics because I don't care. But on September 16th, which was just yesterday, he died in his sleep at his home in Sundance, Utah, at the age of 89. Lots of people paid tribute. Jane Fonda, of course. He meant a lot to me. He was a beautiful person in every way. He stood for an America we have to keep fighting for. Meryl Streep wrote, "One of the lions is past. Rest in peace, my lovely friend." Barbara Streisand, is The Way We Were co-star, had a lengthy statement. Part of it read, "Bob was charismatic, intelligent, intense, always interesting, and one of the finest actors ever." Others who paid tribute included U.S. President Donald Trump, former President Barack Obama, First Lady former Hillary Clinton, filmmakers and actors like Morgan Freeman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Alec Baldwin, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Julianne Moore, Edward Norton, Josh Brolin, Ethan Hawke, Antonio Banderas, Marlee Matlin. I could go on and on. Demi Moore, Ben Stiller, Jamie Lee Curtis, Stephen King, on down the line. His legacy and reception during his career, he was often described as a sex symbol, particularly during the 70s. The BBC called his appeal all-American good looks that couldn't be ignored. And, he became a godfather for independent film as the founder of the Sundance Film Institute. A movie star in his prime, few could touch him, but also a director of great skill, a generational icon. And Time magazine noted that his environmental activism was amazing, calling him fiercely dedicated to pushing for a world that was habitable for all. And his Redford Foundation also helped support environmentally friendly filmmaking. Committed himself to being a good steward of the environmental movement and a champion of the American Southwest. and one of the most foremost conservationists of our generation. An amazing man. He's left a huge mark on Hollywood, extremely iconic in terms of just, you see that and you know exactly who you're talking about, and that is, of course, the one and the only Robert Redford. Christian Slater's pretty sexy too, yes. Indecent Proposal, very salacious at the time. Sneakers, it was a big deal when it came out, yep. 11 more up fingers and a few more dollars. We could use some, really could use some of that PayPal cash. That they don't take 30% of it cash. Let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and pin the link in here. And if anyone would like to talk about Robert Redford, they're more than welcome to. But certainly, if anyone wants to talk about, by the way, The Electric Horseman, you got to see that movie. It is so good, The Electric Horseman. There's a great line in there that John Saxon says, don't try to apply logic to advertising. And I just, every time I see that, I laugh because I always tell that to people that ask me about my job for so many years. You know, well, why do you do that? Don't try to apply logic to advertising. Doesn't you don't do that. It's not going to work out well for you. Anyway, there's the PayPal link. Get it while you can. It's also in the scroll at the bottom, because now I'm going to pin the link. You know, the link that everybody calls the link. Give me the link. Where's the link? He's got the link up. It's the link to get into the show, you see. It's the link to get a free pass. To welcome now my friends to the show. The neighbors out of Africa had some steaming scenes, yeah, as well. Jay says, I got some logic to advertising. I just do what the pharmaceutical companies tell me to do or write about. Yeah, well, can't go wrong there, because they're your friend. They're your buddy. By the way, there'll be a show tomorrow, and that show will feature someone, and here's an idea I had. I was going to do a show on Susan Sarandon, because this week we've done Bradford Bishop, then we did, who else did we do? We did Billy Barty. First we did Billy Barty, then we did Bradford Bishop. Now we did Robert Redford. So we need to have another guest with the first and last initial are the same. Now, I'm willing to accept other suggestions. Now, what I was going to do is promote that show, and I was going to go to her Twitter and put the link in it and just say, hey, there's really no reason that you should ever want to do this, but I am doing a show about you tomorrow at 7 Eastern time. And if you want to pop on, here's the link. There, and you only have to talk for 5 minutes. There's no reason you should do it. You probably wouldn't. I wouldn't if I was you. But there you go. You just got fired. No, you didn't. But on the subject of getting fired, let me go ahead and look that up real here. See, there might be more details to it now. And he might have a response by now. Now, let's preface this all by saying that the late night TV shows do not have the power that they used to have. They used to have huge amounts of power. A lot of power. Lot of power. Lot of power. But they don't have power anymore. Let's see here. I got to get a good quote. It's an hour ago. Washington Post. I get that's 32 minutes ago. That looks like the best one. All right, so let's talk about this. Now, I'm more up for the old, the Gull Rink. Dick Cavett never pandered to politicians. Well, I don't know if I can say that really. I don't know. Oh, they see now the Washington Post wants me to pay for this. I'm not paying for that. What are you, stupid? I'm not paying for that. What are you, dumb? MSNBC, I don't really trust news from them, ever. I could do the AP. AP's 43 minutes ago. Let me go ahead. AP's very trustworthy. They may not be up to the minute, but they're trustworthy, by God. He was just joshing. I know. Jared, I know you were joshing. ABC has suspended Jimmy Kimmel's late night show indefinitely following comments he made about Charlie Kirk's killing. The network's decision Wednesday came after Nexstar announced its ABC affiliates would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely over his comments. Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, and we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located, said Andrew Alford, president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. A spokesperson for Kimmel did not immediately return a call for comment. In his monologue on Tuesday, which was just yesterday evening, Kimmel said that we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Kimmel, like late-night host Stephen Colbert, has consistently been critical of President Donald Trump and many of his policies on his ABC show. CBS said this past summer that it was canceling Colbert's show at the end of the season for financial reasons, although some critics have wondered if his stance on Trump played a role. So there we go. That doesn't have the bit about the FCC chairman saying that he was going to potentially come after, let's go to CNN, that he was going to come after ABC. Because I don't think that's something that ought to be going on. If the MAGA people want to sue Jimmy Kimmel, that's fine. But the FCC chairman should not, in my opinion, be curbing speech in that regard. Disney's ABC is taking Jimmy Kimmel's late night talk show off the air indefinitely amid a controversy over his recent comments about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer. The Federal Communications Commission's Trump-aligned chairman on Wednesday threatened to take action against Disney and ABC over Jimmy Kimmel's recent comments about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer. And I don't know. I used to think that streaming content was not FCC, reviewable. I don't know if that's true anymore. I can find out real quick here. Let's see. Does the FCC regulate the internet? Let me see that. Yes, regulates aspects of the internet, the ISP, the service providers, public safety, internet, no authority over content. The FCC does not regulate online content itself, focusing instead on the infrastructure and services that provide access to the internet. So broadband providers, yes. Content providers, no. So, if ABC or anybody else wanted to, and it wouldn't kill them in this day and age, they could say, hey, forget you. We'll just be streaming. We'll go over Roku, or we'll go over whatever stick, the Amazon Fire Stick or whatever. Not that many people watch over-the-air broadcast television anymore, but the late-night shows just don't have the power that they used to. I mean, for years and years and years and years, only one of them had power anyway, and that was Carson. And he crushed everybody else when they had a show up against his. Poor Dick Cavett was on 9 networks at 10 different times. But then when Carson left, you had Leno and Letterman, and those two shows had a lot of power for a long time. When Letterman left, and I believe 2015, I think it's 10 years ago that Letterman left, the whole thing started to really not have the power. Now, some of those shows do have power now in terms of clips. There might be a good interview or a good skit. But the whole thing, it ain't what it used to be. The old gray mare ain't what she used to be, because back in the day, there was 3 networks, or maybe not as many cable networks. There was no on-demand anything. So if the late night show was the best thing that was on, you would watch it. Nothing was on demand, you know? Why didn't I mention Ed Sullivan? That's a darn good question, Forever Pugwash. I probably didn't mention that because Ed Sullivan was on Sunday nights in prime time, not late at night, and certainly not late night every single day. Booyakasha! Did anybody PayPal? Did anybody? Because PayPal would be I would love a little PayPal. Just a touch. Wouldn't take much. Sorry about that. And you might as well, because apparently nobody's going to use the link. Again. I have, for all 500 and how many shows there are, I don't know how many there are. I have always, and I mean always, had an open phone line, or, I had an open phone line, or now I just post the link. And, even when, what was the name of that, not that with it guy that came on, the last person that came on, I go ahead and I do it. I don't understand. Maybe people are scared of me. I don't know. Could be that they're scared. Or hopelessly uninterested. That could also be it, too. They could just be really super uninterested. We're getting really close to closing time. But anyway, there's your breaking news regarding Jimmy Kimmel. I thought, maybe you guys would be interested in that, but maybe not. Maybe people are just so not watching those programs. Now, I will tell you about Jimmy Kimmel. Not the hugest fan of his show. I am a fan of the fact that he's a fan of Letterman, big time. But what I'm really a fan of is when I love his fake feud with Matt Damon. That I absolutely love. And it's just like Jimmy Fallon. I'm not a tremendous fan of that show, but Jimmy Fallon has a whole bunch of fun things in his show I like Two Truths and a Lie, or any number of other of those games and stuff he played. Or when various singers come on and imitate a certain singer singing a nursery rhyme or whatever. There's a bunch of those things I really do like quite a bit. Stephen Colbert is weird to me because there was a time in my life, and I've met Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert was part of, I believe, the Chicago Second City troupe. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Whoops. Let me make sure of this. I'll just put group. From 88 to 94. So, yes, we hired them to do an event that I was at. So I think I might have met him and Amy Sedaris, and whoever was in the troupe at that time came down to a show that I did. So anyway, there was a time when I thought Stephen Colbert was one of the funniest humans on the face of the earth. I loved the Colbert Report and all of that. And he was involved in one of the funny. I have the box set of Strangers with Candy. There was a time I just thought this dude is brilliantly funny. And then he got that show, and I wanted him to be so successful and so, because he was taking over the spot that was left by my number one man, David Letterman. And just not. It got all political. There's a couple of things that he did, like the fight with Bruce Willis. I'm not saying it was never funny. Also, I don't like his music guy, the way he chimes in. But that's just a personal thing. I could have written that off. But I just don't. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. When he and Jon Stewart were at the Emmys, and, you know, he was doing his worship your false god, Babylon, and all of that. I thought he was hilarious. But it's disgusting that Stephen Colbert is at the Ed Sullivan. Well, I know. The greatest late night host of all time, Letterman, was the only one worthy of that space. Well, I kind of agree with you. Chef in the house. Hey, Chef, how you doing, man? We are taking donations versus super chats or the PayPal. I'm going to put the PayPal back in the room because I think I'd like a PayPal. Thank you. That would make me happy. Let me see here. Here I know how to get that. There it is. Yeah, because PayPal, 100% of it goes to me. And who doesn't love that? What fan of the show doesn't love that? What fan of the show doesn't love the chef? Oh, poop. Whoa, hey now. All right, I'll put it in like this. I guess nobody's going to take advantage of the link anyway. Oh, hey. My show's got pre-roll ads. What do you know? Looks like I'm going to make another 2 cents this month off of my pre-roll ads. Hey, everybody, look out. I'm going to make another 2 cents. Let me see here. There you go. Yeah, use that. Knock yourself out. But anyway, if nobody else has got nothing, I think it's about time to wind this down. And if anybody has an idea for same first and last letter name beginning, Billy Barty, Bradford Bishop, Robert Redford, Willy Wonka, whatever, let me know. Because I am doing a show tonight because we beat the goal of $10. Barely. Unless somebody goes, all generous on PayPal. Which would just be, it would be validation. It's not so much the money, it's the validation, really. You know what I mean? It's just the validation. Whoops. It's just a little, it's nice to get the whole, it shows that people think it's worth something, or that they, have a little, yeah. And also, I like PayPal because it shows me that people are smart. Anyway, how you doing, Chef? Good to see you. All right, I think that's going to do it for Robert Redford. I probably should put this picture away. Whoops. Bye picture. Bye picture. Tom, I think people are afraid of giving their full name out on PayPal. I don't know that I get their full name, though. If they have it set up that way, then I do, I think. But what am I going to do with it? Nothing. The chef, I already know his full name. There's some people in here I already know their full name. Dirk, for instance, I know your full name. Jared, I know Jared's full name. For God's sakes, you guys know mine. You guys know my full name. The full. But that's okay. If you don't want to, that's fine. That's just fine. I don't know Dirk or Jared's full name. I don't. I don't really know anybody's full name now that I think of it. But I do know the chef's, though. Well, the chef's put his here in the room before. But he's a friend of the family. He's a family friend. He's actually tried to send me support for the show other ways, and I didn't take him up on it, which I should have. But certainly, I would take him up on it now through PayPal. Jared says, I did tell you my full name like 2 years ago. You know, I think you did, and I forgot it. I'm not like you guys. I don't need that information. I wouldn't do anything with it if I had it. You know, what am I going to do with it? You know? So anyway, if you can't think of anybody, I looked up a list earlier of, let's see, famous people with alliterative names from history. I got this list, alliteration names, but they all just turned out to be entertainment types of people. And it's like at some point it's like, it feels kind of like People Magazine, Amy Adams, Bridget Bardot, Barbara Bach, Carolyn Choi, Dana Delaney, Cindy Crawford, Gina Gershon, Charles Chaplin, Doris Day. But these are celebrities. I kind of wanted Hugh Hefner, you know, Federico Fellini. You know, if you guys wanted one that you liked, I would do that. Let's see, fictional characters, brands. See, I wanted like maybe the chance of a historical figure. Charisma Carpenter. Man, I'm telling you. Who mama. That's a fairly attractive Courtney Cox. Why am I just picking out the hot girls out of this? Daniel Day-Lewis, Danny DeVito. There, I broke out of that. Farrah Fawcett, Howard Hughes. I'll think of something. I always do. I'll think of something. You guys. How about British? I'm sure there's some British people we could do. Heinrich Himmler. Why do you guys on Heinrich Himmler? Billy Bishop. I don't even know who that is. Tommy Tune. Tommy Two-Tone. I will figure something out. I really will figure something out. Don't know what it'll be, but I'll figure something out. It's a Thursday show. So, anyway, with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say, ladies and gentlemen, is rest in peace, Robert Redford, for starters. Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel, I guess. I don't know. And, Billy Bishop was the top Canadian and British Empire ace of World War I. Well, Malcolm McDonald, famous Arsenal player. Anyway, I guess the only thing left to say is we love the chef, by the way. And till next time, we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about?